Two people in my life that I had the opportunity to know briefly and not so briefly. In high school, you know just about everybody. And one of the things you do in high school is you go to the Friday night basketball game, right? And so I was in the band, and I was dressed in my uniform, and I was part of the pep band, and the basketball game was going on. And to create excitement and frenzy among the people watching the game, when a shot was hit, we would strike up the band and try to make as much noise as possible. But as I sat there and watched the game, I happened to watch the basketball star. He wanted the ball. He wanted the ball all the time. He wanted the ball in his hands. He wanted the ball. He needed the ball. He had to have the ball. He appeared to be at times to hog the ball. And I thought, well, isn't that a little arrogant and egotistical to always want to be the guy with the ball? But as the game got down to the end and it got close and it came down to the winning shot, our team came down the floor, and he wanted the ball, and he got himself in a position always where he received the ball. He lifted his body into the air. He pushed the ball away from his hand. The ball traveled through the air, and before the buzzer sounded, the ball went through the net. We won the game. He always seemed to be able to do that. Make the shot. Now I want you to travel with me to New York and meet a man that I met on the street in New York. I'm in school in New York, and I'm on a budget, and I am in a one-room hotel, and I have my window open almost all the time. I'm on the 9th floor, and the noise from New York City in Manhattan at 7th Avenue and 49th Street is constant. On the 9th floor, you hear the air conditioners of the buildings below you. You hear the police sirens. You hear ambulance sirens. There's constant noise in New York City. It's a backdrop. It's a curtain of New York City. It's always there, omnipresent. You simply allow it to be a part of your life, or you sort of put it on the back burner. Well, I was nervous. I was restless. I hadn't eaten anything, and I wanted to go downstairs, and I wanted to go someplace and get a bite to eat. So I get downstairs, and I step onto the sidewalk. I'm walking down the street, and, you know, you don't make eye contact in New York City with people walking the streets. You just don't do it. But I noticed there was a guy walking towards me, and I could tell instantaneously from the clothes he was wearing that he was going to ask me for money. And I tried to walk by him and pretend like I didn't see him, but he put himself in front of me, and he said, "Excuse me, young man, could you spare a quarter?" And I looked at him, and I said, "How much do you want?" "Excuse me, young man, could you spare a quarter?" So I reached in my pocket, and I rumbled around trying to figure out what was in there, and I put my finger on what I thought was a quarter, and I pulled it out. I looked at it. It was a quarter, and I put it in the man's hand. He looked at me with disdain and disgust and sadness, actually. I said, "There you go." And I walked on. Of course, I was young. I didn't know better. I didn't have the heart I probably should have had at that time. But I got down the street, and I stopped, and I turned around and looked to see what he was doing. And he was standing there. I don't know that he was looking at the quarter, but he was just standing there. And I thought, how does a guy get that low? How does a man only have the expectations in life of a quarter? All you want out of life is a quarter? You know, life is funny. I got tired of cold weather in Indiana, and I decided to move to Florida. I wanted to be someplace warm the rest of my life, and so I moved to Southwest Florida. It took me longer than I had expected. I had a goal. I had a focus. I know what I wanted to do, when I was going to do it. The only thing that didn't happen was it didn't happen as quickly as I thought it would. But I'm here. I'm talking to you right now from Southwest Florida. Weather outside is warm and humid, but I'm here. And here's what my analogy is of the three things that I'm talking to you about. The basketball star, my friend Bill Bell, who wanted the ball, knew what to do with the ball, took responsibility with the ball, knew that he could make the winning shot, had high expectations of life. Then there's the guy in New York City whose only expectation was, can you spare a quarter? And then, of course, myself, I knew what I wanted. I focused on what I wanted. I had a goal, and here I am. So I look to you, and I ask you the same questions. What do you want out of life? What are you asking for of life? You know, the television personality Steve Harvey, I saw him on some program, and he said, if you can see it in your mind, you can have it in your hand. And Tony Robbins is another inspirational and motivational speaker, and he has been wont to say, life will pay any price you ask of it. Ask and you will receive. And then, of course, don't forget Matthew 7:7. And I'm going to read it so I get it right. Keep on asking, and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking, and you will find. Keep on knocking, and the door will be open to you. Have a great day.